for the Count with Brandon Medina and Dan Cialana.
It is Down for the Counts on ESPN San Antonio. I am Dangerous Dan Cialana, not here tonight with my tag team partner, Brandon Big Papi Medina. He is still unfortunately suffering some of the effects of this crazy Texas ice thing going on here. I'm just happy to be here right now. Hopefully Brandon is not hanging out with Glacier from the old WCW days, because nobody wants that. Is he still alive? I hope so. All right, hope we still have Glacier. We don't need Rush Limbaugh, but we'll have Glacier. But we're doing the Freebird rule tonight. Tonight's special tag team partner, not from Texas, from a functional state of California. He is Mike Mayer from the Off the Mic Wrestling Podcast. What's up, Mike?
Happy to be tagging in with you, Dan. I'm just hoping that everybody out there in Texas is okay and safe and doing well, because above all else, that's just a scary situation. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. And to Brandon too, like I said, I'm feeling big shoes tonight. But like I said, just hoping you're okay, brother.
You know what they say about big shoes? Big socks. All right.
Right.
And this has been a great week of wrestling. Got some great guests coming up tonight. And Mike, oh my God, NXT. How excited, or maybe how upset are you about the breakup of the Undisputed Era, the apparent breakup?
Look, this was long overdue. I think we can all agree that at some point, we wanted to think that it was going to be one of these deals where the Undisputed Era was going to go to the main roster. But the reality is that in the end, Adam Cole is the star of the group. And everything that I've heard related to Adam Cole is the main roster wants him up there. They want him up there now. But Triple H has been so protective of Adam Cole, because that's his guy, that he wants a sound exit strategy. And you've seen within the last 4 to 5 to 6 months that Kyle O'Reilly is standing out on its own. And you've got an opportunity here to maybe create another beautiful NXT storyline like they did with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And I didn't expect to see the heel turn where it was, because I was kind of finally starting to buy into Adam Cole as a babyface. But I got to tell you, man, I got a lot of excitement. They've had great matches on the independent scene in Ring of Honor. I think these guys can tear the house down and lead NXT into the future. We'll see how long Adam Cole stays in NXT. But like I said, I think a lot of people are pissed off because everybody loves the Undisputed Era. But in the end, I think this is a good thing long-term for NXT.
And it's been interesting the last several months to see the Undisputed Era as a babyface faction, because typically they're kind of heelish, but once they started feuding with Pat McAfee, everybody hates Pat McAfee so much.
Right.
So it's you got to root for whoever's beating the crap out of Pat McAfee, because that's just how things work. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. I think NXT is going to be doing some great things. And speaking of someone who may be doing some great things, I saw someone just jump into our backstage here. We'll do this live right now. We'll see if this actually works. We'll see if she can hear us.
Radio.
We'll see if she can hear us. We'll see if I don't see her on camera. Maybe she's being shy. Roxy, can you hear us?
Hello.
Now, Roxy, maybe you're frozen right now. Don't want to turn on your camera. That's okay. We respect boundaries here. We're nice people. But first of all, Roxy, thanks for joining us on Down for the Count. And where are you right now? Are you somewhere warm and safe here in Texas?
Yeah, so I'm currently in Laredo, Texas. So it's way down south. So it's a little warmer here. It's not as cold as all the other cities. So yeah, luckily, thank God I have power and water and everything. So yeah.
Did you lose power at any time this week?
I didn't. So actually when I travel to Houston for Booker T's shows, I stay with my aunt in Houston, and her power actually went off, but I just came back from there. So
all right, so you're in good shape here now, Roxy. I've been probably the last year or so since I've been doing this show, I've been paying more attention to Texas wrestling and Texas women's wrestling. And if you look for more than 2 minutes in Texas women's wrestling, you're going to see the name Roxy pop up. You are 19 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh my God. So how old were you when you won your first championship?
So I was actually 17 years old when I won my first championship. That was down here in Texas. It was the RWR championship, and then I won the Reality of Wrestling championship, which is Booker T's promotion when I had just turned 18.
Oh my God. I'm going to do a quick poll here. Mike Mayer, Off the Mic podcast. When you were 17 years old, how many wrestling championships did you own?
A grand total of 0.
Yeah, for me, I've never owned a championship of anything, and I'm 40, so that's amazing.
Yeah,
So
I was just a nerdy high school kid when I was 17, so you got one on me, Roxy.
Yeah, I know, and you're 19 now, and you're kicking ass. So, do you ever find that there's any kind of, I'm not gonna start heat here, but you ever find there maybe is kind of some jealousy sometimes, and you're dealing with wrestlers who have been around for a long time, and they're like, man, she's 19, she's getting all this stuff done, but I've been here for 10 years. How do you deal with that potential jealousy that might come from other wrestlers seeing your success at such a young age?
So luckily I surround myself with people that just like uplift me and whatnot. So I don't think I've run into anybody that has that kind of attitude. But honestly, I just focus on what I'm trying to do and focus on like my goals and trying to get better at whatever I'm doing. So I don't really like pay much mind to it. So I don't know. If there is haters, oh well. But yeah, I don't really pay mind to it.
Always going to be haters, So
Right.
one person
Right.
you do surround yourself with is Booker T over at Reality of Wrestling in Houston. Just how is it just being kind of tutored and mentored by a WWE Hall of Famer like Booker T?
Oh, it's awesome. I kind of like I had to get out of like the starstruck mindset, which was pretty hard because I was a fan of Booker T when I used to watch. Well, I still watch it, but like when I was younger. So to be able to like train with him, I actually had been wanting to train at his school since I was like probably like 10, 11. I remember I was like me and my family were like searching up wrestling schools, and I came across that one, and I was like, oh, it's in Houston, which is like not too far from where I live. And I told my parents, okay, when I turn 18 and I graduate high school, I'm going to move to Houston and start training at Booker T's. But then I ended up getting trained earlier than expected. I started training when I was 13. And then when I was about 16, I started getting on Greyhounds to train at Booker's. And then, yeah, that's basically how I got into his roster. Um, so yeah, it's honestly it's still so cool to me.
That's absolutely awesome. You got a question for Roxy here, Mike Mayer?
Yeah, Roxy. So I think it's so cool that early on in your career, you're getting a chance to learn from a 2-time WWE Hall of Famer and Booker T. That's just amazing for somebody at a young age to start in this business and learn from a guy like him. But it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, you've already been on WWE television, correct?
I have, yeah. I
Yeah.
was actually in the conga line.
Yes, the famed No Way Jose conga line. Yeah,
Yes.
the famed conga line. So, my question for you is like being in that experience and getting to WWE television. What was that like for you? And ultimately, did you meet anybody backstage? Did you pick anybody's brain? What was that experience of getting on to WWE television at such a young age to be a part? Because that was still when we had fans. So what
Yeah.
was that experience like for you to be in front of a live crowd for something just as simple as being in the conga line for No Way Jose?
Yeah, like you said, something just as simple. It was so surreal to me. It just being backstage and being surrounded by people that I look up to and like I've always aspired to be like was just so cool. Um, I remember walking out from Gorilla into like the crowd and like just seeing everything and the fans and just feeling that energy was just amazing to me. And it was kind of like just like a like motivation to like keep working hard because this is like that's where I want to be. Like I want to like walk out into this crowd like every week. So yeah, that experience was just amazing. We didn't get to. You're not really like allowed to really talk to the wrestlers too much, but a lot of them were pretty nice. They would like say hi and whatnot. But yeah, it was just a great experience.
We're talking to the prodigy, the 19-year-old prodigy, Roxy. And I got to ask you a question about AEW. I don't want to get you in trouble or get anyone else in trouble, but I've seen a lot of your fellow ROW people hanging out at AEW. We've seen Alex Gracia there in the front row. We've seen Maddie Rinkowski. Have you had a chance to go hobnob and hang out and network over at AEW?
I haven't yet. But I'm just doing my thing. I'm doing my thing on the indies. Continuing to make a name for myself and establish myself as the prodigy. And hopefully, eventually, soon, they'll take notice.
Now, Roxy, I was looking forward to meeting you actually about a year ago. You were going to do a show here last February. It was scheduled for River City Wrestling. It was called
Oh.
Young Guns 3, I think the show was. I'm like, oh, I get to meet this Roxy and see her in person, this person I've heard about. And of course, the pandemic hit and RCW shut down. But I know over at Reality of Wrestling on Houston, at least for a while, you guys were doing outdoor parking lot wrestling matches where people would park their cars and honk in approval. What was it like doing these outdoor, drive-in matches during the pandemic?
It was pretty different. Not honestly, not too different. Because when I first started, I used to wrestle for outside shows all the time. So it wasn't anything like out of the ordinary. But I thought it was so creative of Booker to come up with that. It's so we had the ring set up, and then people can listen to the commentary on the radio in their car, and then yeah, they're like honking and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay, I have a really, really dumb question about those drive-in shows. This is how my
No
mind
dumb
thinks.
questions.
Well, we'll see in about 30 seconds here. When I saw on YouTube those drive-in shows, I saw everybody parked there. I wondered, like, where do the wrestlers go to the bathroom during those outdoor shows?
There's like where our locker room is. We still have like our locker room inside. So
Okay.
the ring is set up actually in front of the Reality of Wrestling gym, the World Gym Arena. So yeah, we still get ready and all that good stuff in like our normal setting. It's just we take down the ring and set it up in front of the World Gym Arena.
And Roxy, I have another awkward bathroom commentary because I actually had a chance to visit that World Gym Arena I think 2019. It wasn't for a wrestling event. It was actually for the movie Trivia Schmodown. So, but it was cool to be there to see that wrestling ring and to see that whole area there. But in the bathroom, I know there's a sign in there that said, I guess it was for the students there. It said, being here and training here is a privilege. And basically like, hey, clean up after yourself. You're not a big shot. You're not don't act like you're too good to clean up. How is that work ethic in terms of like paying your dues and just kind of working hard instilled into the students there at Reality of Wrestling?
So the way that the training works at Reality of Wrestling is, I believe you can't get in the ring for a couple of weeks. So like the first few weeks, the trainees they have to do like a certain amount of push-ups, a certain amount of crunches, a certain amount of all this stuff every single day. And then once they get past that, then they can start in the ring. Um, but yeah, the trainees have to clean up, or actually it's like all of us, like, so we'll clean up before training, and then pick up after yourself after training. Charmel is like super big on like always telling us like turn off the lights as soon as you walk out of the bathroom.
Right.
You don't pay the bills here. um, so yeah.
Awesome. So we only got about a minute left here with you, Roxy. What upcoming dates you have events coming up?
I have a couple. February 27th is New Texas Pro Astro World in Houston, Texas. So that's not this weekend, but the following weekend. And I'll be wrestling Danny Jordan, which I'm sure people have seen her on AEW. Um, And then I believe I have another row show somewhere in March. I have a couple of shows in March. But I usually post all of my bookings on my Instagram. So you guys can follow me there and keep up with wherever I'm at in Texas.
And what's your Instagram name? Did I
My-
sound so old? I sound like a dad. What's your Instagram name?
My Instagram name is _ROKC. Also, I will be in Florida for Mania weekend. So,
Woo woo.
yeah, I got some good stuff coming up.
Awesome. Now, before we let you go, you know, our friend here in San Antonio, Alex Gracia, she made some attention on YouTube because she called out Sheeta, and she ended up getting a match with Sheeta in AEW. So, is there anybody, any woman or man, hey, at AEW that you want to call out right now on the spot on ESPN San Antonio, saying, "I want a match with you, and if you don't take it, you're a wuss and you're a coward"? Who you want to call out on the AEW
Whoa.
roster right now, Roxy?
Whoa, y'all are putting me on the spot over here.
Come on, you got a little heelish
there's
nature to you. I know you want it. I know. I see, Mike. I know she was thinking of someone, but she doesn't want to say it. I knew it. Come on,
Yeah.
Roxy.
there's so many talented women on AEW that I'd love to get in the ring with. Anna Jay is one of them. I think she's like friggin' awesome. I'd love to step in the ring with her. And definitely Sheeta. I'd love to wrestle Sheeta.
And kick her ass. Is that what you're saying? You're gonna kick Sheeta's ass?
No,
That's what she's
no.
saying.
I did not say that. Maybe.
Oh, oh,
You know, I'm a little.
You did
You're
not
almost
say it.
successful, Dan, in getting it out of her.
I'm a little younger. You know, I got some.
oh. You're saying you're younger and better, more athletic and better looking than Sheeta. Is that what you're saying?
Whoa.
Is that what you're saying?
I did
Does
not say that.
Are you sure? You didn't deny it.
I'm positive.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to get you in trouble. Roxy, this went by really, really fast. You're someone who I've always wanted to have on this show. You're kicking ass in Texas women's wrestling and wrestling in general in Texas. And we're so glad you took some time to talk to us here on ESPN San Antonio.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was awesome.
You're welcome. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. She's cool. I like that. I like her.
Yeah, I like her. She's got a great personality and so young and already winning championships. So like she's doing it the right way, like working your way up at a young age, and ultimately like she's already been on WWE television, man.
Yep.
At a young age as a teenager, like future's bright.
She's kicking
for her.
ass. She's kicking ass.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
where she's going to be when she's 29. My God. I'm telling you, if you've never heard of Roxy, you got to follow her on Twitter, got to follow her on Instagram. You will be seeing a lot of Roxy in the future. I absolutely guarantee it. And I hope you'll be seeing more of me and my co-host here, Mike Mayer. I'm Dan Cialana, Brandon Big Papi Medina. Not here tonight, but you're here with us. This is Down for the Count on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at espnsa.com.
For the Count with Brandon Medina and Dan Cialana.
It is Down for the Count, your ESPN San Antonio wrestling show. I'm Dangerous Dan Cialana, not here with my usual tag team partner, Brandon Big Papi Medina. He is, of course, once again, in violation of the ESPN San Antonio wellness policy, but I am invoking or provoking the Freebird rule. I'm bringing in Mike Mayer from the Off the Mic Wrestling Podcast. How about Roxy in the last segment? That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's for me as an outsider to the Texas wrestling world to kind of get to know some of the people that you guys are following out there in Texas. It's a great wrestling, just a wrestling state in general. So to learn about one of the rising stars in the industry, just kind of doing it on our own. And like I said in the last segment, when you make it to WWE television, no matter what you're doing, like to do that as a teenager, to me, that's what sticks out. And it's like, it's a driving factor for her. And she's motivated to get to the big time. It's like, yeah, just to do something as simple as being in No Way Jose's conga line. Like people who were like, wasn't like Becky Lynch once a Rosebud, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, you look at that, it's like, that's a launching pad for people's careers. So she gets to see people. And on top of it, she's learning from a two-time WWE Hall of Famer in Booker T, who's done just about everything you can possibly do in this business and is a native Texan. So it's just like, she's got a lot going for it. I can't wait to see what she can do.
Yeah, it's very depressing thinking about what I was doing when I was 19. I definitely wasn't having, I definitely didn't have wrestling championships. I wasn't being asked to be on anyone's interview, except with maybe the police, but no radio interviews about anything important. But what is important, though, let's talk a little NXT. We usually don't, to be honest, when Brandon's here, we don't talk much NXT because in terms of the Wednesday Night Wars, AEW usually takes our attention. And I think in a lot of ways and a lot of weeks, well, basically every week, my Wednesday night routine is to watch AEW Dynamite live on TNT. And then maybe that night or maybe the next morning, skim through NXT. And no offense to NXT. NXT is great, but in terms of comparison to AEW is the Wednesday night show that you can't miss. Do you agree, Mike?
I would agree to that. NXT is, to me, like if you compare it to like a main roster show, it's a more of a niche type show where you're focused more on the wrestling and the character work isn't like AEW. I kind of liken more to like a cross between NXT, but has a little bit more of like the Monday Night Raw and the SmackDown factor where there's a lot of more character, a lot more of the entertainment element. I'm not saying that these are I'm not saying that NXT isn't entertaining. Like the takeover specials that they do every single time, there's never a bad takeover. Like it's just insane. But when you stack it up against something like an AEW where they got these larger than life stars like Chris Jericho or a Cody or the Young Bucks, these guys are known. In NXT, like you're bringing in like obviously guys who could potentially be there, but you got the Adam Coles of the world. But in terms of that, like I said, I like an AEW more to a main roster type show. And that's why I think a lot more people have their eyeballs drawn into that as opposed to NXT. I'm not saying that NXT is a bad show. It's just,
definitely
it's catered to a certain audience.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I actually appreciate about NXT is obviously it's a television, I don't want to say war, it's a television battle. Not nearly as intense as the Monday Night Wars. So obviously NXT is aware of AEW. But what I like about the Wednesday Night Wars versus the Monday Night Wars is that these two shows, AEW and NXT, competing, they're not trying to just do these hotshot angles to try to just like, let's just get people talking and let's kick their ass and we're going to put them out of business. They're not responding to each other's shows. Oh, yeah. Maybe sometimes in terms of if AEW is doing a special show, maybe NXT will say, hey, tonight we're going to have limited commercials. But other than that, they're not really doing anything to really kind of be aggressive. Both AEW and NXT are saying like, you know what, we have our show and we do what we do. Now, like I said, I always watch AEW live because I think that's the show I want to not miss something. Off the top of my head, and I'll ask you this too, I can't think of anything in the last few months where I felt like I missed out because I didn't see live on NXT. Can you think of anything, Mike, that you, oh my God, I can't believe I missed it. I can't believe it was spoiled on YouTube for NXT.
Really, that's a great point, because like even with some of these bigger shows that they do on free television, it's like even with how they did Halloween Havoc last year, they did New Year's Evil, like these made for TV specials. You don't feel like there's anything like the last time I felt like there was a moment truly in NXT where I was like, oh my God, that's a great, was when Finn Balor turned heel last year on Gargano and Ciampa and then the Undisputed Era, that whole angle. That was the one time, really. I mean, and they've had their fair share of good matches, but really in this pandemic, it feels like AEW has kind of been delivering like the Kenta surprise at the end of the show, the Kenny Omega, Don Callis alliance. It's just like those things have stuck out. And like I said, NXT, I love what you said there. It's not like Vince Russo is booking these shows and trying to throw a hot shot angle.
The swerve, bro.
The swerve. And just trying to throw. Triple H is sticking to who he is as a booker and as a promoter, and isn't trying to just like outrate, like he'll put on a match to like, stand up against the other show, but he's not going to throw out an angle that's just complete BS just to pop a rating or something like that. That's not NXT style. It never has been. But back to what you were saying, there hasn't really been, and you can't really count this Adam Cole heel turn because it happened on the WWE network. It didn't happen on Wednesday night. A lot of these big things have been happening at takeovers and not on Wednesday night.
Absolutely. And another big show coming up, not Paul White, but another big pay-per-view coming up will be Elimination Chamber. That's going to be this Sunday. And when we get back from break, we will talk to a couple of very knowledgeable wrestling gentlemen, at least in their own heads. I don't know. We'll talk to the Outlaw John Roca and Aaron Turner from Strong Style, the wrestling show on YouTube. You don't want to miss it. This is Down for the Count on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at espnsa.com/wrestling.
Down for the Count with Brandon Medina and Dan Cialana.
It is Down for the Count, your ESPN San Antonio wrestling show. I'm Dangerous Dan Cialana. I'm very glad to have survived the Texas ice apocalypse. What's going on? My tag team partner not doing as well, but he's safe. Brandon Medina is safe somewhere in a warm, undisclosed Texas location. But we got the Freebird rule, so I'm tagging in Mike Mayer from the Off the Mic Wrestling Podcast. Not a Texan. Actually, a Californian on ESPN San Antonio. Who in the blue hell would invite a Californian, much less three Californians, to be on this show? I feel like this is like I feel like I'm being ganged up on here. All right, we got
not me.
We got Aaron Turner. And the
Floridian.
outlaw, John Roca from Strong Style Wrestling. I'm sorry, John told me I was supposed to say his name first.
Yeah.
I'm so
You
sorry.
can't mess that stuff up, man.
You're right.
I am so sorry. He
Where's
actually,
Medina? Give me Medina. Bring it back in.
no, Medina. You know what? And I think John told me, he said you wanted your square here to be bigger than
Yeah.
Aaron's.
Bigger than Aaron's and laced with belts. Absolutely.
Okay.
Laced
Hey,
with
you know,
I could shrink up some of my size since I'm not the real host here. You guys can get more size if you
All
want.
right.
Yeah.
You California guys, you need to, I'm going to get exiled from Texas here. So how's not, just real quick, guys, how's not being frozen in California? How's that going for you?
Aaron?
Well, I'm actually not in California. I'm in Florida, but
What?
equally not frozen.
I didn't know that. Okay.
That's cool.
That's,
Equally not.
yeah, I mean, you got to tell me these things. No, just kidding. I'm sorry.
I'm
I didn't know.
back.
I didn't know I invited Florida man on the show. Roca, are you, I know you were, I saw you in person in Texas once, but are you ever going to come back now you've seen that we're a terrible state that can't handle ourselves?
Listen, Houston is a great city. I had a great time when I was down there. If we
Yes.
get to come back, absolutely. Once you guys figure this stuff out, and I hope you guys do, because so many people are suffering through this stuff. And Vince is like, that's a big state. You got to get the power back on. I need them to buy Elimination Chamber this weekend, for God's sakes.
Exactly.
So,
And we need to fix our power situation by the time WrestleMania rolls around next year,
that's
2022. WrestleMania is coming back to AT&T Center in Dallas, so that's gonna be fun. But WrestleMania is a long ways away. This Sunday, we're talking Elimination Chamber. Roca, are you excited for any of these matches at Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, of the two of us, I think I'm the excited one about this pay-per-view. I want to see what happens here. I love the Elimination Chamber. If there's one thing Eric Bischoff gave us besides the NWO, it's the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
And also the lesbian story, the lesbians getting beat up by
that's true.
3-minute warning.
The HLA, yeah.
HLA, come on. There was so many
Jamal
classic.
and Rosie, yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I
That
scrubbed
feels
that out
like
of
it
my
was
brain.
yesterday. It's like I feel old, like thinking about that this actually got its own pay-per-view, and like the first match, Shawn Michaels wins the world championship, and it's like here we are now, and now we get two chamber matches. It's just, and they've changed the format. They've changed, like they had a 7-man match that started with like it's amazing how this match has kind of evolved and it turned into like just this launching pad to WrestleMania when it was just like ultimately like it started at Survivor Series and now it's got its own show. It's crazy. Like what 2002 and now here we are in 2021 and it's its own show.
I've never been disappointed by an elimination chamber pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Never once. The matches are always kick-ass. Do you like the results at the end? Maybe not, but the matches themselves are brutal, and I am mad that there's not a woman's elimination chamber because those ladies have been killing it during these matches. I mean, do you forget Sasha Banks off the top of that elimination chamber going on top of Bailey and all them? Like, there have been some great spots. Alexa Bliss doing Twisted Bliss off the top of that area that they're in. Just great stuff all around. But we're going to get two awesome male elimination chamber matches this weekend for sure.
Now, but we do have Roca. We do have this match, and I know Aaron is excited about this match. Asuka versus the apparently pregnant with Ric Flair's baby, Lacey Evans. Now,
Can we talk about this for a second? I don't want to butt. I don't want to butt in here. Can we just talk about that segment on Raw, guys? Like,
do we have to?
I mean, it was just so bad. It frustrated me so much. And like, congratulations to Lacey Evans on being pregnant in real life. It is real to her and her husband Alfonso. We already met her daughter on television. We know that she's married, and so the whole angle is pissed me off.
It's not Ric Flair's baby.
Yeah, it's not Ric Flair's baby. I mean, we'll have to get a DNA test to confirm it, but like, I just like Ric Flair being on television. I just don't think it's needed at this point, especially in a pandemic with all this stuff going on and his health reasons. But the bigger issue that I had with this, you're talking about the Raw Women's Championship match that was going to happen. It's still like, it hasn't been canceled yet. Asuka's the Raw Women's Champion. She was about the 4th or 5th most important person in that segment, and she is the champion. Like, what the heck is the Raw Women's division come to? Like, it's just, holy crap. Like, that's what frustrates. I don't know how you guys felt about this, and I don't mean to take this on a side tangent, but the state
I think you do.
Raw,
you have a lot of Vince McMahon's trauma. I can tell.
We're trying to talk, Mike, but you keep talking. Aaron, tell him what you think about it.
Oh, let me talk to you, as LA Knight would say. If
LA Knight,
come on now. Let me talk to you a little bit. So it's weird because Asuka feels like she's been about 15th fiddle her entire run with that Raw Women's Championship. A few weeks ago, she was given an interview and they just cut her off and went to a video package. Then they came back and she was like mid-sentence, and I was like, what are we even doing here? And then this whole thing with Lacey is just. I'm one of these people that saw Lacey Evans live. You know, I live in Orlando at the time. I go to Full Sail a lot, watch a lot of the NXT shows. I saw Lacey Evans come up. I'm like, all right, this girl, she's got so much potential. She's very athletic. She's got a good look. She's got a good story. I like what we're doing here. She comes up to the main roster and she's been a wet fart ever since. And it's just whatever.
Not the good kind.
And not the good kind. And whatever reason, she just can't get going. She can't get out of her own way, whether it's messing up spots with Bayley, whether it's forgetting to slap Charlotte to where she has to stop running in the corner and saying, please slap me in the face. Like, we all saw that a couple weeks ago. And now we have this pregnancy storyline where it's, hey, I'm pregnant and now I'm gone.
Yeah.
It's
maybe Aaron and Roca from Strong Style Wrestling. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I've had Lacey Evans on our show and I thought she was a very sweet lady.
Yeah,
I'm sure
very
she's
nice lady.
Yeah.
Great role model. I know you.
Country.
Her story's
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah,
her story's awesome. She served our country, and just seeing that kind of play out, like, and she's a loving mother to her daughter Summer. Like, it's like, yeah, you can differentiate the woman from the character, but in terms of the ability that we've seen on television, that's what I think has frustrated Aaron and a lot of people alike. She's got the ability,
for sure,
but it's just like the way that she's been utilized and just the way that things have turned out in the ring and on television just haven't delivered to the par of being like a top level female talent in WWE right now.
But we've seen this over and over again. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Go ahead, Roca. You can't jump in Roca's way.
We've seen this over and over again with these wrestlers from NXT. When they come up as characters, it rarely ever works, right? Ascension didn't really work. What were the two dudes who were the strong men from the 1920s? Like, those guys didn't work.
The Vaudevillains.
Yeah. That didn't work. And Lacey Evans comes up as a girl from the 40s with the hose, and that shit isn't going to work anymore.
The hose? Bayley, you mean like pantyhose, not like Godfather's hose.
No. She's got that line on her hose, which essentially is the hose from the 40s and the 50s. So that kind of stuff just doesn't work anymore. Yeah, I'll show you. That doesn't work anymore because you've got Bayley being real, Sasha being real, the Man being real, Charlotte being real. Yes, they have nicknames, but they're authentically themselves, you know? And I think when you bring up a character like that, it doesn't really work. Even Asuka, who has the mask and does all this stuff, she's still Asuka. And I think with Lacey, that whole character thing has to get completely thrown away. It worked for NXT. It doesn't work in the main roster. And until she gets rid of that baggage of what she's doing, then she'll be able to step forward, I think, and really be powerful. And maybe this pregnancy comes at the right time to do a bit of a reset for her when she comes back.
Now, someone who's done a reset in the last few months, changed character, gone heelish, is Roman Reigns. So I want to ask you, Aaron, I know it's kind of controversial. Anything with Roman Reigns is controversial because some people just want to hate him no matter what. Do you buy this new heelish Roman Reigns, this head of the table, arrogant bastard Roman Reigns? Are you digging it?
100%. I absolutely love it. I'm a guy that was kind of lukewarm on Roman. I'm like, here we go again with Roman this, Roman that. Then they start doing this head of the table stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, this dude has got more dimension than I ever thought that he did. I thought he was one note. I was quite wrong about that. Even with, with Paul Heyman there, you're going to get that boost. You're going to get that mic boost. But I don't think that he's been so bad off that he needed to fall back on Paul Heyman as much as you would think. Paul Heyman does his stuff on Talking Smack that really hypes up Roman Reigns, but Roman has done a lot of the work himself. You got to give Jey Uso credit as well. That whole family storyline's been great. Yeah. The only real hiccup in the road of Roman Reigns so far has been that I'm handcuffed to the lighting rig. I can't get off the lighting rig kind of thing. Like that whole thing was a mess. But other than that, it's been
match
flawless.
Was great. Yeah, the
match was great.
Counting to 7 and then just stopping.
Yeah. Essentially 17 because the other ref was at 9 before he got thrown out of the way. But other than that, I mean, the guys had no hiccups. I've loved watching them, and I love that he gets to face the winner of the men's chamber after they've won the chamber.
Yeah,
so, they're going to be all
his character. Absolutely,
so good.
But
John,
question for you guys.
Yes.
Sorry, Dave. So who's facing him? Because the consensus seems like it's going to be Kevin Owens again.
Yeah, I've seen that.
The consensus seems like that. In my mind, what makes a lot of sense given what happened on SmackDown this past week, I think Cesaro should win it.
I like where you were going.
I think Cesaro should win it, and I think Seth Rollins should cost him the title. And that enhances the feud, and that enhances their build to WrestleMania. Because here's the thing, and I think we can all agree on this. Cesaro, I'm so happy for that guy. Mm-hmm. He's got the one WrestleMania win that it got him nothing. That Andre Battle Royal got him nothing. Right. So it's nice to see him with this decent push to face a guy like Seth. It seems like that's where they're going with this. So I think he deserves to win that chamber match. And if he faces Roman at 50%, maybe they have a good little match and then Seth costs him. Like, I think that's where they should go with this.
That makes sense when you look at the booking, right? If you're going to turn him face, which the attack by Rollins does move him towards face, him winning this Elimination Chamber match and then giving Reigns one of the matches of his life, but losing thanks to Rollins, further reinforces him as a face and gets the entire WWE universe behind him. All of us who are wrestling fans, I think all of us can agree that Cesaro has always had the goods. He's just never been 100% pushed by the company or completely given the chance to take the ball and run it on his own. He's always been saddled with Sheamus or some other situation, but having him be involved with Daniel Bryan and maybe even, moving past Daniel Bryan to do his own solo thing, this is the way to do that. If not, it is going to be Kevin Owens, and that's the end of that feud. But I think Cesaro is a great idea. What do you think, Aaron?
I think you're on the right track there, man. I was thinking that earlier today watching it. I mean, Cesaro cut that promo a couple of weeks ago on Talking Smack where he really just laid in and got a lot of people behind him. Like, everybody's really always been behind Cesaro for the most part. So to see him get this possible shot, and I think you're exactly right in what's going to happen. He's going to take Roman Reigns to the limit, give him a better match than you would think, and then Seth Rollins is going to come out and totally screw this guy over. So we're going to really feel for Cesaro and want him to beat up Seth Rollins really bad.
All right, before we let you guys go, Aaron Turner and John Roca from Strong Style, I want to you guys give a letter grade, a preemptive letter grade, a prediction grade. First, Aaron, what do you think? Give a letter grade. What do you think this is going to be on Sunday? What letter grade do you think, after all the reviewers and everybody looks at this, what will Elimination Chamber earn letter grade?
I think depending on what we get out of a couple matches, mainly the United States Championship Triple Threat, which I think is going to be the stealer of the show, I'm going to give it a B, just solid B.
It's going to be a B, all right. And Roca, what do you think a grade will be given to this Elimination Chamber this Sunday?
Well, I think if Charlotte steps in for Lacey against Asuka, and then, as Aaron said, we get that triple threat match that tears down the house. I think that's going to give it a B plus. I think I'll go a little bit higher, say B plus. I think that SmackDown Elimination Chamber match is going to be good, but it's going to be overshadowed by the Raw one, in my opinion. And when it's all over, unless if the Miz comes out and uses and cashes in the Money in the Bank at this pay-per-view, then it's going to be an A. Then it's going to be, which would make sense, because wouldn't that be something if Cesaro takes Reigns to the match of his life, and then Rollins interferes, and then Miz comes out and kicks Roman Reigns' ass and takes that belt? Wouldn't that be something?
Book it, Vince. That's money. Roca knows how to make money, right? John Roca, Outlaw John Roca, and Aaron Turner from Strong Style Wrestling. How do we find, Aaron, how do we find Strong Style online?
You can find it on YouTube every Friday on the Outlaw Nation Network. It is on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 in the Pacific Standard Time. Find us there. And, you never know when we're going to pop up with extra content. We do reviews of Dark Side of the Ring. We've done watch-alongs. You never know when Strong Style is going to pop up. So you need to subscribe to the Outlaw Nation Network so you can be up to date.
Absolutely. And we'll be doing an Elimination Chamber watch along this weekend for sure. So come and join
Nice.
us there.
Hopefully you guys will be able to sync your phones better this time, because the last time I think Jay Washington was like 30 seconds behind. He's like, what happened? What happened? So
it was really bad. Yeah.
we'll see what happened. No, it's still fun either way, seeing the reactions. It's actually fun watching the watch along if you can't watch it live, when after you watch the show and kind of like, watch the reaction in real time, go, oh, I wonder how they're going to react to when this happens, because it's going to happen. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this show. Thank you for joining us on this post-ice apocalypse Texas thing going on. And man, we will watch your watch along this Sunday. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
you
man.
guys.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Good guys. Check out those guys, Strong Style Wrestling. I didn't know I had a Florida guy in the show. I don't know if that's allowed.
We thought he was a California guy, and I guess he's in Florida.
Nah.
So.
Aaron, no, we love it.
You can pretty much do anything in Florida.
I think so. And remember, Florida, Vince McMahon last year during the pandemic, when it started, he was able to convince the Florida government that wrestling was an essential business. It was the biggest wrestling work in the history of wrestling. Well, I'm Dangerous Dan Cialana here with my fill-in tag team partner, Mike Mayer from Off the Mic Podcast. This is Down for the Count on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at espnsa.com/wrestling.
Down for the Count with Brandon Medina and Dan Cialana.
It is Down for the Count, your ESPN San Antonio wrestling show. I'm Dangerous Dan Cialana, not here with my usual tag team partner, Brandon Big Papi Medina, but of course we are using the Freebird rule, and I tagged in Mike Mayer from Off the Mic Wrestling Podcast. How fun was it talking to Aaron and John from Strong Style?
Good discussion. I mean, good thoughts. Just talking about, like I said, bringing that up. We're talking about the Elimination Chamber. It's a great concept. I'm glad it's still around. And just to get their thoughts on some of the big picture things going on in WWE, the Lacey Evans stuff, and what's going to happen in the Chamber. It's just like, go give those guys a follow. I'm always a fan of anybody else. Like I love filling in on your guys' show. I support any podcast around that's willing to talk about wrestling and talk about it. So it's just good to interact with other people who are just as passionate about sports entertainment as we are.
And I didn't realize you had so much Lacey Evans trauma, but that'll be another discussion for another day, perhaps with a counselor or something. But
I'm not alone probably in that department.
Well, I love Lacey Evans. I'm biased because we got a chance to talk to her. She's a very sweet lady, but someone who's not a sweet person. Two guys actually who are not sweet people, Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. They will be involved very soon in let me see if I can get this right. It was an exploding barbed wire death match, because
we had the barbed wired steel cage match. Now we have the exploding barbed wire death match.
Because Mike Mayer, you can't just have a barbed wire match. That's for sissies. I mean, come on.
Well, that's so tame. You need
to have an exploding barbed wire. Now, how does barbed wire actually explode?
That's a great question. I don't know what AEW's got cooked up for this thing at Revolution. But the last time these two got into a match that was lights out, and it was at Full Gear in 2019, that match was insane. The spots that they pulled off, I think they had a suplex spot into like a bed of barbed wire.
Yeah.
These two guys are insane. And Jon Moxley in particular is insane. So there's no telling what the hell is going to happen in this match. Like, I'm excited to see it because these two guys, the two times that we've seen them in AEW, have torn the house down. So I'm excited to see this. They don't do rematches. They don't do rematches in championship. So I'm excited that they're seeing this thing through, because it's probably the most interesting thing going on in AEW right now.
You know, even if you don't like the whole blood and guts stuff, you don't like violent matches, I think a lot of people are going to watch this exploding barbed wire match, AEW, coming up, just out of curiosity, just to see what the hell are they actually going to do. I know Brandon, my usual tag team partner, he's into this stuff. He loves it. He's a sick bastard. He loves blood and guts.
The old ECW stuff.
Mike, we just got about a minute left here, but how do you feel about these violent matches with blood and explosions? Are you into it?
I'm always in for like a good old spot fest, and something that, because it's all about creativity to me, and to see these guys willing to do something different in a wrestling match, I've always appreciated like the ECW extreme style, because it's a different form of entertainment. I'm into obviously those technical masterpieces, but it's a different style of wrestling, and it's not for everybody. But like Brandon, I do enjoy it because like it's something different to watch, and to see the creativity of these talented performers just to put their bodies on the line just to entertain us. I enjoy that stuff.
Somebody who may or may not put his body on the line for you, Mike Mayer from Off the Mic Wrestling Podcast, filling in for my usual tag team partner tonight. Mike, thanks for joining us on Down for the Count tonight.
Thanks, and stay warm out there.
Absolutely. And thank you to our guest, obviously, Roxy. Check her out. Find her a Reality of Wrestling out there, 19-year-old prodigy Roxy. And, of course, look up John Roca and Aaron Turner, the Strong Style Wrestling show on YouTube. Great show, good stuff, good guys. And thank you so much for joining us. This is Down for the Count on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.